Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of Chakras and Cuss Words podcast. If you are new here, welcome. I welcome you, okay? My name is Katherine, and I am the podcast host. And today we are getting into all that cosmic energy for you cosmic baddies, for you bad mavens, you naughty, tantalizing, witchy bitches. So we're getting into the energy of the blood moon. Ooh, the lunar eclipse in Pisces, also known as the blood moon. And it's also known as the corn moon. So this moon has many titles. This moon is a badass. This moon is filled with a lot of divine energy. It's a very powerful moon. It's not like a little lazy moon. It's a powerful full moon or eclipse or center of movement that you would call it. It's definitely deep in the divine tapestries of culture and wisdom and ancestral lineage. So it definitely has a lot of harmony to it. So this is a very powerful eclipse, and it's a very powerful energy. So it has many layers. It's a blood moon, it's a Pisces energy, and it has the corn moon symbolism. So you can use like a lot of this energy if you are creating intentions. Me personally, when I think about eclipses, because eclipses are seen as a little bit like chaotic, people say, eclipses are chaotic. The energy around intentions are long. It's very long lasting. In the aspects you might not see your intentions come into fruition in about like the next time that eclipse hits. So eclipses are more kind of seen like as a phase of protection or shadow work, especially when you get into the cultural energies of the past and how we used eclipses almost as areas of release and clearing. And I will say this eclipse speaks energy of protection and keeping your spiritual hygiene up to date. Like a lot of times I feel that people forget how many people just do not like you for just being you. And people who have a very positive aura, a very strong aura, or are very magnetic and almost like, I guess you could say, almost like magnificent. And it almost reminds me of that energy where people are drawn to you and other people who don't have that same energy. And it could just be because they aren't really centered with their own confidence, or they're not really centered in their own path, or they aren't really centered in their own authentic nature. They just don't have that movement. And people will hate you for you just being you, for you just being who you are. People will have the evil eye against you. People will show and throw some shade your way. Like, people can be very nasty. And unfortunately, many of us encounter this. And it's just something that we learn to live with and we learn to protect. So I will tell you that a cosmic baddie or a witch who is centered on protection does not need so much hexing, so much judgment magic. Because if you are divinely keeping up that spiritual and protective hygiene, you're not going to need to basically hex anybody, because your ancestral lineage, the people that want to see you move, and if it's not, like if you're not connected to your ancestral lineage, if you don't feel like who you are as a cultural deity, as a cultural god of the lineage that you came from, isn't really the strength and the power that you adapt, and you're more centered around your spirit guides. Like we all have guides, however you want to call them, guides, masters, mentors, whatever it is. If you feel like you need to hex people constantly, or people are doing you dirty and you need to kind of give karma, or you kind of need to give the pathway a boost, I'm going to tell you, you probably need to do some protection, because there's no reason why so many people should be getting so fucking close to you. Okay. And you need to do a check of your own karmic energy, and you need to do a check of your own shadow. So this moon is rare because it's a blood moon. It's a blood moon eclipse in Pisces, and it literally arrives in the area of mysticism, the energies of the mystic, the illusions, the deep energy of the inner waters that the Pisces brings. The Pisces asks us to dive into our unconscious state. Now, if you have people who are kind of feeling like they're always out to get you, and you feel like people are always out to get you, I'm going to ask you, how come? What's going on, girl? What, or guy? Like, what's going on, babe? What's going on, my cosmic baddie? Like, what is going on where people are always constantly out to get you? Now, some people might be just out to get you because your energy is so vibrant. Now, this moon is occurring on September 7th of 2025 at 6:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it is centered at, I believe, 15 degrees. Now, because it's an eclipse, this energy is magnified. And what's also magnified is the shadows. This could be the shadows of other individuals. It's illuminated, it's more strong, and this could be your own shadow. The shadow is asking to be seen, healed, and released. It's also asking to be acknowledged. So if you haven't acknowledged your shadow, it takes time. It really takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of journaling. It takes a lot of reflective energy. I personally, I know my shadow. I know I could be very, almost a little, just very invasive. I'm not like a big cup of fuzzy love and light. And I probably have a personality that feels like a little bit distant. And I tend to protect myself maybe too well, because in some areas it doesn't allow me to create bonds or friendships with other people. And for me, for the most part, I do have good friends and I do have like a good circle, but I'm also one of those people who I will be very distant if I need to be, because something gave me the wrong vibe, and I will cut a bitch off like no other. I'm just not very big on competition. And with girl groups and with inner circles where it is mostly women, it gets very competitive. And me personally, I'm not here for the competition, because the only person I have a competition with is myself, bitch. And the fact that people try to get competitive with me, or try to like show inner workings of like a competitive street, or show inner shade, and these could be quote unquote frenemies, these could be acquaintances, this could be, but I watch that energy quite well, and I notice and I pick up on shit easy. And the fact that this illumination is occurring with an eclipse makes me kind of question certain friendships and certain areas of groups and circles where you say, are these people really here to see me win, or they're only here to see me win as long as I'm not winning more than them. And that's kind of the energy that the shadow work plays out. And we all get a little jealous. We all get a little bit like, how come so-and-so is doing so amazing and I'm still struggling? And when that happens, us personally, we need to check that out. We need to acknowledge that and say, it's not about them, it's about me, and look back into our solar energy, back into our dark soil, our subconscious. Because in all honesty, when we're jealous or when we're, competitive, or when we are almost making that own energy. And I'll do that too. I'll be like, wow, man, this girl has so many clients, or wow, this girl has like 1,000 and 100,000 subscribers. Wow, what is she doing that I'm not doing? We get a little bit down on ourselves. We get a little bit, and in all honesty, we have to understand that that's our own shadow creeping up on our own limiting beliefs. So let's look at themes of exploring the shadow and exploring this energy. And I've done tons of work on shadow. So if you want to look at some of the old podcasts or some of the old meditations, it's on the YouTube channel. Shadow work, especially during eclipse season, and eclipse in Pisces amplifies the energies of illusions. And I feel like a lot of us, when we go on social media, we go down this illusion rabbit hole. Like everything on social media looks so beautiful, right? Everything looks so well put together, curated. It looks amazing. But what we don't see is we don't see that this person probably bought their followers, or we don't see this person probably has a PR agent or somebody who's posting for them every day. Or what we don't see is the fact that maybe this person's marriage is falling apart. Or what we don't see is the fact that maybe this person has put themselves in $100,000 in debt, trying to make a business or trying to make something work. We don't see the emotional, overwhelming nature that so many of us experience. And we tend to just look at what's curated on this energy. So while the eclipse will definitely be trending and it will definitely be highlighted, but one of the things to really explore during this time is closing that energy of the subconscious coming back and like triggering us. So I personally think for some of the rituals would be a technical social media technology cleanse. And it would actually be a more potent time to devote not just an hour, 20 minutes, but to really devote like all day or the next day to not checking your phone, not bed rotting. They said our culture loves to bed rot, loves to sit in bed. The millennials love to bed rot. And I'm like a Gen X, but I'm like really on the cusp. If there's a cusp, I'm like on the cusp, right? And I'm definitely like a younger Gen X. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take all the credit, shit, bitch. I'm kind of a millennial. My sister's definitely a millennial, and I practically raised her, so I know what these millennials are going through. And also just really take a cleanse from social media. Like remove it from your phone if you can, and really get back to the energy of the mind. Journaling, meditate, use this time to really uncover old shadows, old wounds, and old fears. Now, protecting your energy in an eclipse is potent. It is 100% the most important thing you can fucking do. Your spiritual hygiene and your protection is an understanding that not everybody is allowed access to you. Not everybody is allowed to be around you. Not everybody is allowed to engage with your presence. Protecting this energy, protecting your spirit, protecting your sapphire, matrix, divine blessing of who you are is the movement of what eclipses are about. Eclipses open portals. They open movement. And this Pisces energy makes us so much more stronger while we understand our shadow, while we understand our spiritual hygiene. It's crucial to think of energies of cleansing and energies of protection. Me personally, how I do my protection may look different to you. How you do your protection may look different to me. I'm a big believer of cleansing with water, and especially with a moon in Pisces, cleansing with water would be like the number one. Okay, like the number one. And since the sun is in Virgo, I would definitely have some grounding practices down. And also, you could use smoke, clearing energy through smoke. I love smoke. It is something that I use enormously. I'm burning something probably, if not daily, every 3 days. Crystals, yes, a lot of people love crystals. I have crystals all through my house. Cleaning your crystals. I wouldn't necessarily charge my crystals right now, but I might clean them. Intentional boundaries, really getting focused on your boundaries. Now, what's interesting is sometimes with boundaries, you see people after you've already allowed access to you. And that is human nature, right? That is something we do. But when you acknowledge it, okay, like you acknowledge it, you acknowledge the shade, you acknowledge the hurt, you acknowledge that movement, and you continue to still allow them to have access to you, you need to understand there is something going on with you. Because you're now allowing this person intentionally to cross your boundaries, to cross your own protection. You've created boundaries to protect you, right? You created boundaries to not allow everybody in your presence. And when somebody tampers with your boundaries and you're still allowing them access to you, you need to understand that there's something going on with you. There's a shadow in you. There's somewhere that needs a little bit more spiritual hygiene. Somewhere that isn't fully cleared. Somewhere that isn't fully cleansed. Where the wound hasn't got cleaned. The wound is still opening up with dirt, pus, and rot. You need to get back into that wound. You need to clear it out. You need to really scrub it down. And this eclipse would be the perfect time to do it. Also, spiritual hygiene is something that should occur daily. A lot of people think witchcraft, because I'm just going to say everybody, thinks everything's witchcraft. Intentions, witchcraft. Lighting a candle with some salt, witchcraft. Everything's witchcraft. Everything is witchcraft shit. Energy is based off of the energy of alchemy. But it does not have to be this big, vibrant ritual. It does not have to be like, I'm pulling out the salt. I gotta go to the dollar store and stock up on cinnamon. I gotta go and do all these things. No. It's a mindful energy. It is a mindful act. It is understanding that you in the shower alone with one person, you, scrubbing away the shadow, acknowledging the shadow, respecting the powerful reset, clearing from head to toe, scrubbing in between the feet, watching that power that somebody had over you remove, dissolve, go away. A powerful reset of you and your spirit alone. That's it. It could be done with nothing but just you and your consciousness, you and your self-awareness. Witchcraft, intentions, however you want to place it, does not have to be this big thing. It could be very subtle. It could be very beautiful. It could be very centered off of your own visualization, your own energy of washing it away. So spiritual hygiene should be done at least once a fucking day. Somehow, that intention of protection, of clearing, of releasing, of allowing that energy to move away from you should be very symbolic, and it should be important. Now, understanding that our coping skills are the things that really protect us, and our coping skills are our intentions. So understanding that, yes, my coworker was a fucking asshole today, and maybe they tried to get me in trouble, or maybe they did something to really upset me. And then we have this decision to make. Am I going to go, and you could tell I'm speaking from the past, am I going to go and buy a bottle of wine and drink that bitch? Or am I going to go home, release that energy, do a spiritual cleanse, do some spiritual hygiene, understand how I can communicate with this person? Because let's be honest, they're probably not going to get fired for giving you some kooky eyes. They're probably not going to get fired for being sassy. They're probably not going to get fired for trying to, hurt your feelings. But who needs to still deal with that person? And who needs to deal with the event? You. You need to clear that event away. And this could be with a lover. This could be with a coworker. This could be somebody. And you need to understand how you create boundaries so these events will not affect you in that presence. And one of the best ways is not allowing those people access to your energy. Also, with the corn moon, the symbolism is corn must be husked. Okay? Corn is a very powerful food. And I will tell you, we eat a lot of corn in this house. It's probably because we're Mexican. Well, I'm Mexican, and I just think corn is a beautiful vegetable. Is it a fruit or is it a vegetable? I mean, I guess it's a vegetable. It's a very beautiful food. There's a lot of beauty in what you eat. Corn has to be revealed. If you get corn, and I'm not talking about like getting frozen corn, I'm talking about getting corn that you need to husk. You need to clean it. You need to peel away the illusions. And what's funny about corn is you never really know what it is. I mean, you can kind of look at it. You could tell that it looks green. The yellow isn't like hitting it. It doesn't look dry. And then you see the beauty after you husk it. You see what's beneath after you husk it. You see the energy of wisdom beneath it. You see the area of nourishment. And corn symbolizes so much. It is what many of our ancestors used off of a seed. Planting a corn seed can feed generations. Planting a corn seed can feed the energy of strength. So see yourself in that energy of symbolism of this corn moon, seeing that you can plant these seeds for generations. You can plant these seeds for movement. Understanding what rituals you're going to do for this eclipse is important. Me personally, do I do huge rituals on a eclipse? Not necessarily, but I do something, right? So that could be journaling, especially if you've been feeling like your dreams have been very vivid. My dreams have been very vivid. Journaling, maybe the energies of grounding, the energies of focus for a long time, cleansing your home, cleansing you is definitely energetic and powerful for eclipses. I wouldn't necessarily charge anything right now. If you want to charge something, I'm not going to tell anybody how to do their own practice, but I would definitely cleanse, make sure there's no dust. You could definitely do a release. If there's something you need to release, an old relationship, I would release, I don't know if I would release an old relationship during an eclipse. I don't think so. But I would definitely maybe release something if there was something holding on to you. And with this lunar eclipse, we step into the most mystic, ancient energy that feels centered off of deep, deep release, deep shadow work. And this is the energy of spiritual boundaries like we never really seen before. It is that symbolism of our spiritual harvest. It is our spiritualism of the shadow that continues to come back up. And spiritual hygiene needs to be done every day. Like it really does. Every day. If that's lighting a candle, clearing away energy, if that's just saying a couple moments of prayer to yourself, allowing that time and creating boundaries. I would say one of the boundaries I've created is not allowing so many people access to you. And it's interesting because with work, it's a dynamic, right? And work is probably one of the worst places you could have friendships. Like you could have friendships at work and have friendships outside of work, but people get so upset at work that I wouldn't invest too much time with my coworkers. I mean, there's definitely people that I consider coworkers who I have a close relationship with, but I wouldn't invest too much time with my coworkers. What's interesting is I've actually invested more time with my old coworkers now that we don't work together. And now that we're out of the emergency room, we still have a really good connection. And I personally like that better because I feel like sometimes with work, we take a lot of work home with us and we allow work to enter our friendship. And sometimes that's not what a friendship is about. Like, I shouldn't be your friend just because you think maybe I'm going to give you an easier assignment. Or we shouldn't just be friends because I always help you. Or we shouldn't be friends because, you know, especially like with nursing. And we shouldn't be friends because, you know, I feel like you can teach me something. We should be friends because like genuinely we like each other, right? That's why we should be friends. Genuinely, I like your vibe, right? And sometimes with work is challenging and our shadow, our energy that feels challenged comes up. And sometimes we might be snappy at each other. Sometimes we might be mad at each other because you put me in a fucked assignment, bitch. You know, like why I gotta have the dementia guy who's trying to fight me. You know, like, so with work and friendship, it could be very challenging. Me, I've always kind of had boundaries. I've had friends with work, but I've always had boundaries with work and friendship. Because when it comes down to it, and you have to choose one, most of us, unfortunately, are going to choose our job. So I personally don't think that having huge friendships at work are a good thing. I like my friends to be outside of work. because we need to have protective boundaries, especially when it comes to our money. There's one thing I don't play about, and that's my money or my family. So as long as we have boundaries about those things, we're good. So cleanse daily, set your boundaries. This could be around dating. This could be around interactions, and especially spiritual interactions. Emotional walls, a cleansing, deep salt, smoke clearing, whatever really sets you right. Journal your shadows. I wouldn't be journaling huge intentions during an eclipse, but you do you, boo. Illusions, patterns. Journal those patterns. Journal those patterns. How come this continues to happen? How come every man I meet isn't willing to commit? Why do I love unavailable men? Emotionally, spiritually, and even technically physically. If you're noticing you're only attracting married men, if you're noticing you're only attracting men who are emotionally unavailable, they don't want to commit, they don't want what you want, then I'm saying your type is not the right type for you, and you need to do some real work. You need to look past what it is that putting you in those circumstances and look at what it is that you really want. If you really want commitment, then maybe you need to see that the guy who's driving the nice car and getting out in a Gucci suit and just has this alpha, he's a real go-getter and he's going to get everything he wants, is the right one for you. You might need to look at, see if maybe you need a man who needs a little direction. You could direct him right into your pathway, direct him right into your energy cycle, right into your portal of romance. So definitely look at some of the symbolism and the patterns. Now, when we are talking about ancient lineage of the blood moon, we have to remember that the blood moons are depicted, they are talked about, they are seen in a lot of energy, of prophet, of movement, of calling, of messengers. You see this energy roll up in movements of scripture. The blood moon is often described as a great change. If it is seen in the books of Bibles, if it's seen in the books of legends, if it is seen in the books of maybe even some darkness, if it is seen in the energies of the indigenous, the Christians, the Arabic, the energy of the Mesoamerican, the Mesoteca, we see that this energy comes up always. In the book of Joel, the sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the great, dreadful day of the Lord comes. Now, a lot of Christians believe that Jesus is coming back. And I'm born Catholic, but I'm not necessarily a practicing Christian. I'm definitely not a Christian. Like, do I think Jesus is coming back? Not necessarily. I feel like there's going to be a lot of false prophecies, especially as time comes. If Jesus comes back, that's great. I'd love to meet him. But right now, I just believe that there's going to be a lot of false prophecies. There's going to be a lot of people who are trying to entangle others into their spiritual beliefs. Spiritual psychosis, religious psychosis is a very thin line, okay? So we want to keep reality-based, people. So we have to remember the sun is in Virgo. We need to be rooted here on Earth. But a lot of people believe that, getting people to your worship, getting people to your energy will help you get into I don't know if it's heaven. I don't know if it's a beautiful next life. I don't know what it is. But with this moon, I could definitely feel that the energy is feeling like, oh my goodness, something's going to happen, right? Some type of prophecies are being prophet from many people. I've been seeing a lot. I've had people even come up to me trying to, I guess you could say, initiate me into their religion. And that's when you need your spiritual boundaries. That's when you need your boundaries of look, because a lot of people do believe that there is a spiritual war going on. And I definitely think there is too. I mean, they like to label it good, bad, witchcraft, witches, the mystics, the alchemist, the spiritualist. Me, I'm centered off of morality. Okay. If people can do what they want to do and they don't hurt me, I don't hurt them, and we just live amongst each other in this beautiful world, this beautiful cosmic stone, I'm going to let you do you. I'm going to mind my business. If you like who you like, that's your business. If you are unhappy with your body and you want to be somebody else, that's your business. If you are going through some things, that's your business. But when your business affects my business, then we got some motherfucking problems up in here. That's different, right? I feel like people can live amongst each other perfectly fine, allowing each other to have their own practices. I just don't like when people start talking to me about their practices and thinking that they're going to indoctrinate me. No, thank you. No, thank you. Let me practice what I want to practice. If you think it's witchcraft, then you think it's witchcraft. If you think it's spiritualism, then it's spiritualism. If you think it's being one with the alchemy of the magic of the universe, and you need to let it be. So basically, we will see that there's going to be a lot of people during this moon trying to change others, and we need to stop that. We need to allow people be who they want to be. So also with the Mayan energy, the Mextica, the energy, I know people are saying don't call Aztec's a very given name. Okay, it was given to the indigenous population that their land was stolen. But I honestly, it's funny because I'm trying to figure out what indigenous population my dad came from. I feel like my dad's got some Guam in him. I feel like he was more Mayan. That's personally what I feel when I look at him. I don't think he was from the center of Mexico City. The Maya saw the lunar eclipses, especially the red ones, as moment when the moon was wounded. And I think our nation, we're all a little wounded right now, right? The red color was linked as blood. The blood of letting rituals and fertility. Blood is very powerful. People use it in rituals. People use it in the energy of nourishment, sacrifice, beauty. I'm definitely going to have to do a little podcast on vampires, modern vampires who want to stay beautiful forever. Menses blood, very powerful. And women are very powerful, especially pregnant women. Pregnant women, like Cardi B said, honey, we need to stay all asses in the house, because there are people who are very, very harmful because for whatever reason, they have that evil eye out. And morally, I believe there's just evil. If it's in the form of demons, if it's in the form of energy, if it is in the form of just evilness, there are just some people who are fucking evil. And I believe that to my heart. You know, mental illness, yes, it's out there. But there are some people who are just fucking evil. And that's why we need protection. That's why we need to be centered around the movement of our beauty, the movement of our bloodline, and allowing yourself to protect your bloodline, protection of the energy of this moon. Also in Norse mythology, the wolf that eats the moon is an interesting concept. So in Norse mythology, the lunar eclipse was explained as the wolf Hati Hovestajan. I'm sure somebody's going to fix my pronunciation. Chasing and biting the moon, this little wolf. When the moon turned red, it meant that Hati had caught it. And the blood moon symbolized chaos, ending, and a cosmic reset. So moons are definitely about new beginnings and endings, especially lunar eclipses. In indigenous cultures of the Native Americans, tribes saw the blood moon as a sacred time for cleansing, and the corn moon especially tied into the energies of harvest and preparing for winter. The red tent was linked to the life force of earth, the ripening of crops, the cycle of death, and feeding into the energy of rebirth. Some tribes would drum and chant during the blood moon to honor the ancestral spirits and the guides, and to allow the spirit to move back to the energy of the moon, back to health. And the corn moon being centered with Virgo, the sun in Virgo, allowing that coloring, is centered around wellness and health. So protection of health and wellness is definitely a factor. In Chinese mythology, the dragon-eating moon was a symbolism. Folklore described eclipses caused by the celestial dragon to devour the moon. Often in mythology of the Chinese culture, communities would bang pots, drums, and firecrackers to scare the dragon away and restore the balance, symbolizing its representation of ongoing battle between light and darkness. And of course, in the energies of alchemy or the energies of the occult, the esoteric circles of the blood moon is considered a power moon, an energy of closing chapters, new beginnings, and of energies centered around shadow work. Banishing, protection, rituals are amplified. The red glow is tied into the energy of movement. Many could see it as the energy of war, as the center of Mars. The movement of passion, blood, speaks volume in the movement of the color red, especially for an eclipse, and the movement of the red moon. While the eclipse energy itself is tied into endings and karmic cycles, it reveals our hidden truths in the energy of our own shadow. So definitely look at where it is that you want to be centered. And we are going to do a reading, quick reading, because it's already like a long-ish podcast. I definitely want to, take my time with this because this is such an important moon. And I definitely want to talk about spiritual hygiene and boundaries, because boundaries are so important, and understanding our boundaries, especially in this cycle. So the deck I'm using is actually an oracle deck, and it is Black Moon Astrology cards. I will give you a message based off of this card. I know, not your traditional witch. I'm not pulling tarot right now. For this moon, do something else. And also the Fantasy Cat Oracle deck. So one thing about me is I'm going to be different. I know everybody wants to pull tarot. I don't really want to pull tarot right now. It's just a lot. It's just a lot of energy in the cosmics. It's just energy in that I don't feel comfortable pulling tarot in for right now. So let's start with the fire signs. Oh, wow. Isn't this a coincidence? So the card for the Black Moon, the Black Moon the Black Moon Oracle deck, Lunar Eclipse, bitch. Is it not a coincidence? Lunar eclipse, and I did shuffle these cards plenty of times. Lunar eclipse, it's a time for change. Now, when I'm thinking of change, especially eclipse and like new beginnings, new change, fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, I'm speaking to you. This cycle is saying, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. The change is going to come, but you got to come in the intentions. You got to come with the first step. You can't change if you're doing the same shit. Okay? And I'm speaking to you like a bestie. I'm speaking to you like you're fucking bestie right here. I feel like if it's as vibrant as this blood moon, it lets me know that some of you are getting stuck in the same pathways. Some of you are getting stuck in the same movement. And this change, this opening and cleansing and spiritual movement is not going to occur if you're still doing the same shit. The same shit includes the same fucking excuses. It includes the same storyline. It includes the same boundaries getting pushed. It includes the same apologies. It includes the same mindset. Fuck that mindset. Throw that mindset out the fucking window. Because that mindset, that energy is not giving you what it is that you need. It is not giving you that change that you need. That change that is deep, deep within you that you need to make. You need to really sit with that fucking shadow, with that fucking energy, and look at it in the face and say, how come I am not moving? How come I am not changing? How come I'm not evolving? How come I'm not growing? And look at it, respect it, because you have to respect, you have to give that shadow an ounce of respect, because if you don't have any fucking respect for that shadow, you know what that shadow is going to do? It's going to continue to knock on that door. It's going to continue to say, bitch, I'm here. It's going to continue to say, I showed up again. I'm here again, because you haven't set boundaries. So you need to do some deep, 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 deep fucking change where you are really looking at it. And I'm speaking because, girl, I know the story. I know the story. Dreaming is something we do, but making these dreams a reality doesn't come unless there's change. Less there's change from within, less there's change from movement of your own patterns. So looking at that shadow and seeing where it is, am I going to make that change to benefit one person? That one person is fucking me. Unless you're protecting and cleansing your family, unless you're protecting and cleansing the people around you. But for this moon, it should be about you. It should be about you, your spiritual cleansing, your spiritual need, and making that change. For the water signs, if you're a Pisces, this is you. If you are a Cancer, this is you. For you are a Scorpio, this is you. North Node, life purpose. This is a heavy card. The obstacles. Go ahead and look at your chart, okay? All of us should be looking at our chart, especially with a Pisces moon, seeing how that Pisces energy really places, especially with an eclipse on new beginnings and change and new atmosphere and closing chapters. But look at your North Node, life's purpose. Where are the obstacles coming in with that? Where is the energy of change? Where's the energy of closure with that? Where is the energy of shadow with that? If the North Node is in your 9th house and it's in Gemini, and you haven't communicated anything to anybody, you haven't told anybody how it is that you feel. You've been holding your little voice, your little throat chakra's been blocked since you were 5. You can't get out what it is that you really want to say. You can't tell people your boundaries because you're not even sure what they are. You've been holding on to that little cycle. You've been holding on to that little rhythm. You've been keeping it quiet for so long. I want you to hum. I want you to speak. I want you to see where your challenges are. Understand the North Node, life's purpose, can feel fucking heavy. I don't know my life's purpose. I do. Some of us do. But you might not. And that's okay. Getting here is not easy. Getting here is not fucking easy. It's really not. Understanding what it is that you need to pause and look at and see what heals the soul here in this pathway. What feeds the soul here in this pathway is significant. So you're going to need to protect, pause, and evaluate that North Node energy, that movement energy, and understand how it feels to you. Understand how it talks to you. Understand where it is. So look at your chart, because that North Node energy is different for everybody, right? I use communication. I use the 9th house. I use Gemini, but yours might be different. You might be in Libra. Your North Node might be in Libra in the 3rd or in the 4th. So look at your chart, okay? And for people who don't know their time of birth, because I hear this a lot, I don't know my time of birth. Fortunately for the nodes, you don't need your time of birth. So you can look at, you won't know your house placement, but you will definitely know the constellation that it's in. And that helps a lot. So definitely look at the North Node and also see what keeps coming back up to you. A lot of times I've talked to women who haven't been able to have children, and they've told me that, they thought their life purpose was having children. And then they come to the realization, it wasn't. And then now they're seeing what their life purpose is in a different format. They thought it was to be a mother, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out for them. And now they realize that their life purpose is something else. Their life purpose is maybe being a mother to the community, maybe being to the mother to all the children who don't have mothers. Maybe it's something grander and bigger that you didn't even visualize. So allow yourself that movement. Also understand that the spirit and the energy of quiet joy is a transition. So the joy of making this transition feeds the soul, of understanding the movement of the purpose, of understanding the movement of alchemy. It comes as the cycle, as the portal, moving through the portal, moving through the energy shift of walking that path, of understanding the purpose. So definitely take time with that for the water signs. For the earth signs, Sun is in Virgo. It's your season. Virgos. I love a Virgo. My sister's a Virgo. She's so cute. I love her. Let's see. Do I know any other Virgos? I'm sure I do. But my sister is probably my favorite Virgo that I know. Obviously. Let's see. And then the rest are just fucking air signs and damn fire. Okay, the rest of us. And we got some water thrown in there, but my sister and her man are both earth signs, and I like them. Okay, so we got for the earth signs, we got Virgos, Taurus, and boom, Capricorn. Oh, the other earth sign I know is my son's girlfriend. But okay, I can't talk about family. They get all upset when I talk. Don't be talking about me on your podcast. Don't be talking about me on your TikToks. Till I can hear the family. Don't be talking about us. I'm gonna talk about all y'all motherfuckers shit. Okay, so anyways, fire element. Desire. You know I love some desire, honey. You know I love me some desire. So, for the earth signs, fire element desire. Now, let's talk about it. When we are centered with our fire, element, our energy of movement, and what's so interesting about this energy is this energy speaks volumes in the movement of passion. This energy speaks to the movement of the blood, of the passion, of the red moon eclipse, the blood moon, and it speaks in why aren't we centered in our passion? Why aren't we centered in our desire? Now, when we are thinking about desire, it's not always sexual. Okay, it's not always sassy time. It is centered off of our creativity. Technically, Mars is our energy of creativity, our energy of spontaneous movement. What it is that we desire, what it is that we need, that feeds and nourishes the soul. Now, I will tell you, not everybody is centered around passion and the energies of movement. Would I be practicing some sex magic on this fucking portal, on this eclipse energy? You're goddamn right. But I'm also talking about the creative spirit of allowing us to acknowledge what our shadow's been blocking. Yes, this is an eclipse, so I wouldn't necessarily be doing a huge ritual or intention around my inner deepest desires, but I would definitely be sparking an interesting focus of why I haven't touched my intimate desires. What energies of my shadow is holding me back? Now, a lot of times, and I love a fucking water moon, bitch, because a lot of times the water moon is centered around the sacral chakra, the energy of passion, of desire, of intimacy, of cleansing. So I would definitely cleanse that area in the bathtub. Allow that water to seep into the portal. Allow that heat to get in there. Allow that movement to feel very nice. Now, you are going to want to be cautious with some of your oils, right? You don't want to use too many oils down there. You're going to want to use water base, but allowing that intimacy of your own passions to move forward. Now, if you're looking to do something more centered off of creativity and acknowledging your shadow, first you need to acknowledge your desire. What it is that you've been desiring. And if it's not intimacy, and if it's not passion, where it is in creativity that you've been desiring that your blocks continue to block you from, where it is that your shadow continues to block you from living in your desire. Could that be limiting self-beliefs? Could that be you don't have time? I don't have time. None of us have fucking time. Bitch, make some fucking time. Sit your ass down and make some fucking time, okay? So look at that energy. See how it moves forward with you. See how it moves quite nice with you, and allow that energy of passion to come back up. Also, I feel like you guys, you earth signs have been doing the runaround too much. Now, when we are living, and it's kind of funny that I brought up the time thing, because I feel like you bitches have been running around like aimlessly. You're going to need to sit down. You're going to need to sit down, look at why it is that the passion is feeling low. That could be creative passion, because I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh, all this bitch does is talk about sex. She's one horny bitch. No, this could be also about creativity. This can also be about energies of impulse, of your spontaneous energy. You need to sit down, stop doing so much for everybody else. I feel like you guys are just doing a lot for everybody. You need to stop it. Sit your ass down and say, this is me time. This is my desired time. Why haven't I signed up for a workout class? Why haven't I signed up for that facial? Why haven't I signed up for that massage? Why haven't I signed up for that artsy fartsy class? Why haven't I signed up for some moon magic? Why haven't I bought the book to learn how to seduce my husband? Why haven't I cast a spell on him so he's obsessed with me? Why haven't I done that? Why haven't I balanced my sacral chakra? Why haven't I balanced my root chakra? So you need to stop feeding everybody. Stop putting so much stuff on your plate and sit your fucking ass down and get centered with your desires, bitch. That's for the earth signs. You guys are doing too much, I can already tell. For the air signs, let's see what these... I was going to say something very offensive. Let's see what these hot messes are doing. Let's see what this air sign is doing, what these air signs are doing. Air signs, you're an Aquarius. You're a Libra. We have Mars in Libra right now, so I already know you guys are fucking just a hot mess. And we have Gemini. Gemini, I'm gonna need you to shut up. Stop lying to everybody. Okay. Air signs, a lot of people think that Virgos are good liars, but I'm gonna tell you, you ain't met a liar till you met a fucking air sign. Okay. A Gemini, girl, those energy Geminis, they can lie. Those Geminis they are good pretenders. They are good pretenders. Man, those Geminis, they be living in their own world, bitch. God, and everybody thinking their world's reality. So, water element, sensing this sensuality. Okay, no, we're not going to do sensuality because I just did a lot of sensuality. For the energy of the air signs, it lets me know that you need to clear that movement away. There's been a lot. Water cleansing. I feel the energy of cleansing. I feel the energy of movement. I feel the energy of the sacral chakra getting initiated into your purpose of clearing. I feel like a lot of clearing needs to take place with the air signs. Air signs, the problem with air signs is sometimes they take the water element, make that shit a hurricane. Also, check out my podcast about Hurricane Katrina and Hurricane Betsy for people who like event astrology. That was a massive event. So definitely for the water element, you're going to want to clear. You're going to want to be aligned with the sacral chakra. And you are also going to want to align with the energy of the throat chakra. I feel like we need to maybe tame the throat chakra for some of the air signs. And I also feel like the throat chakra is a little bit initiated in too many places. I think also the air signs needs to do a clearing of intentions where they speak truthful to not just themselves, but also to others. I feel like there's a trine energy with them right now that's focused more on a downward trine. A trine's a trine, but with a downward trine, I feel like they need to get more strength and energies around the confidence of the heart chakra, maybe their boundaries, and also with the energy of the throat. The throat feels very active right now for the air signs. So if you're like in some kind of relationship where you're like choosing two people, I'm definitely going to say that you need to clear. And I'm personally thinking you shouldn't choose either one. Okay, now some of you might be like, what is she talking about? That doesn't pertain to me. Or what if you're making two decisions? You need to choose one that feels right with you. Wow. Okay. And I feel like helping. I definitely am seeing the throat chakra excessively. I feel like helping is definitely something either you've been doing, helping a lot of people. Maybe you've been in hiding. You're hiding who you are. You're hiding your true nature. And I feel like there's a big decision with the air signs. Some of you guys. I also feel like you need to do the shadow work. You're hiding behind something that is holding you back in some aspects. So I definitely feel that the air signs need to become a little bit more truthful with their shadow. Need to do some journal prompts around their shadow and the energy of decisions. There's definitely a big decision that needs to be made. Trust your intuition, trust your third eye, trust your crown, trust the energy of getting right with the throat chakra, and also getting right with the heart chakra for the air signs. There's a lot of fruit coming your way. There's definitely a lot of fruition of a fruitful nature. But there's definitely a big decision taking place for some of these air signs. Clear, bitch. Clear. Spiritual hygiene every day. Spiritual hygiene every day. Clearing every day. Protection every day. Definitely with the eclipse is amplified, but this is nothing new. Okay, cosmic baddies. Have an amazing blood moon. Have an amazing lunar eclipse in Pisces. And don't forget to share this podcast with your witchy bestie. And have a friggin' amazing day. Bye.